Good afternoon and welcome to episode 11 of 3 Feet from Gold. My name is Jeremy Murphy. I'm a positivity, health, and running coach in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I'm joined by my friend Ha Tran.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ha Tran, and again, I'm from Beverly, Massachusetts. I'm a motivational speaker, a published author, and a navigational coach. And I couldn't be happier to be here with my friend Jeremy and to talk about the book 3 Feet from Gold.
There it is.
Yeah.
We're really flying through this book at this point, aren't we?
Yeah. We love it because we keep on finding, then hidden golden nuggets somewhere, and we just find it. And I think it's just so exciting.
It's nice to take a slow enough trek through a book to find the wisdom or knowledge and intelligence, the common sense that people can use to improve their lives, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I love a few shows ago you're talking about this book, the way we read it, that way we peel the onions. Where at first if we just see the onions, and that is nothing extraordinary about. But when we start to peel one layer at a time, and we will see more, and we appreciate it more. And I come to realize that we actually peel that onions, and we really enjoy seeing that everything is unfold.
Agreed.
So
Go ahead. Yes.
I just want to remind you about the housekeeping.
Right.
We have so much problem earlier with the blab. So.
Yes, we have an agreement with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. We did request permission to present this series and based on this book and to use the title. And the foundation gracefully agreed to allow us to do this. But they asked us to read this notice to tell you how to find the Napoleon Hill Foundation. 3 Feet from Gold is used with the consent of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. However, the foundation has no control over and does not endorse the blab.im platform or content. To learn more about the Napoleon Hill Foundation, go to naphill.org. And the foundation's doing wonderful work around the world, not just here in the United States, but all over the world, several languages, several different social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram. So go look up the foundation and look at all the books and wisdom and knowledge that they've produced. It's helped thousands or maybe millions of people.
Jeremy, I read A Think and Grow Rich dozens of times because I make the point that I read twice a year, and I have that book for years, and I love it. And the last episode, you read a excerpt on the letter that Napoleon Hill sent home to his wife, Mrs. Florence Hill in Cleveland, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And I have such a great appreciation for what he went through, and then for his accomplishments, means so much more for me today than it was at one point.
It really gives you a perspective into the deeper thinker that Napoleon Hill was, and not just as the person that wrote Think and Grow Rich. There are other books that the foundation has published very recently. One of them I found out was just published in 2011. So It took a long time to get approval and have all the ducks in a row to get that book published. And we can talk about that at a later time. But there are a number of books and just the correspondence that Napoleon Hill wrote. He wrote a lot. And so it's interesting to look at people at a deeper level and not just as the author of Think and Grow Rich.
This saying is not from Napoleon Hill, but from Winston Churchill. He said, "I will persist until I succeed." And and when I heard you read the excerpt of the letter that he wrote to his wife, and I can see the level of determination he has and the knowing. When he wrote that letter to his wife, he said, "Let up to me. I will bring home the bacon. Just, tell me that you believe that I can deliver it, And, for the man, because see, when we reading his word, his accomplishment, his, we just think that he just didn't have to go through all that. But because of his journey, because what he went through, that's shaping his future, and then the future that he's so decorating, celebrate, by us after many years, almost a decade, went through in order for us to appreciate him and knowing of his accomplishment.
Yes, it takes a while for people's accomplishments to really sink in and be fully understood by the world. And I think Napoleon Hill is that type of person. If your work is still being published decades after your death and being talked about and just discussed and analyzed at length, I mean, that really shows someone who's had a long tail impact upon the world, not a short little burst, but to have the long tail and have like you said, the persistence and perseverance to get to the finish line.
Yeah, what you just mentioned is that spoke volume about Napoleon Hill, the man that who have his own he had his own challenge. He overcome it because he persists, because he determined, to bring home the bacon. So, right. But again, we'll be talking about the two chapter on the chapter 13 and 14. That one is about the opportunity, and other one is about attitude. I think that two married very well in the sense of success journey that you and I, we studying it.
Yes, they are linked in an interesting way, and I think it's interesting to see we've talked a little bit about belief in the previous shows, and you just referred to it, Ha. And I think in these two chapters, the belief starts to get deeper. It gets to the point of being faith when we get through the end of the attitude chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, what is your thought about the chapter 13 about opportunities?
I was very intrigued by this chapter as an entrepreneur to really see that, Greg is trying to get this book published and it's just not quite going as he would hope. And he thinks all these doors are closed. And finally he calls Joe Dudley, the entrepreneur. And Joe Dudley basically took a $10 investment and turned it into a $30 million worldwide business, and being able to support the world in humanitarian causes and in other ways. But really to see someone that could start that small and take that opportunity and be able to make it into something that's significant that would have worldwide impact, that was really amazing to me.
Oh, it's amazing to anyone. We the $10 or the minimal amount that he put in at the time that he started his business, that is, considered a phenomenal success, a massive success by any stretch of imaginations.
Right.
And I remember he has so much challenge, but then he taking that challenge, whatever people label him, to fuel his passion.
Right.
And I think that sometimes we need somebody to lit the fire underneath of us in order for us to move. And maybe that is just the fuse he needed to turn his life into a massive success.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what people use to fuel their success or fuel their fire, if you will, to keep that fire burning inside, that's strong enough and hot enough to keep persisting, especially when things go wrong. We keep hitting obstacles or little roadblocks, and I think that's something Joe Dudley talked to Greg about. Things may not go exactly as you like, but sometimes you have to really look at what opportunities are out there, and look at all of them. Not just look at the ones that might be handed to you by someone else, but also to look at the ones that you could create if necessary, especially if you have a creative gift as a writer or any creative enterprise or business. to really look at how you could change the world by, creating your opportunities.
I think that any gift, any talent you have, that is granted that you have to cultivate, you have to nurture that. But before that, if you believe in God, you believe in where you're coming from, whether your creator, your God, or my Buddha, the gift it gives to you. And therefore, for every gift you receive, there is a responsibility attached to it. Because
True.
see, that gift give it to you for purpose.
Very true. Yes.
Yeah. Even Joe Douglas. What is the word you said? I don't know. You mentioned to me, but for me, I just almost just like a slow cooker.
Oh,
When you just
yes. Slow burner. Yes.
slow burn. no,
Maybe slow cooker is more appropriate. We might have a larger audience of people who like to cook. I don't know.
I always think that I am a slow cooker. That's how my style, because I learned it and massage the message and I let it seem I have it really when the lesson that I learned, I just don't stop there. I have to bring my story into it, and I want to make sense of the story that I went through and the lesson I learned, and therefore I marinate all of that and I put in the cooker, the slow cooker. And boy, just like Joe Douglas mom said, when you got it, by golly, you get it. And I love that. And I don't want to neglecting when Joe he talking about his mantra that I can, I will, and I am. I can do it, I will do it, I am doing it. That is his mantra. Can you imagine when you believe in the morning and with such a high energy and you said, by golly, today I can, I will do that and I will do it. I am doing it.
That's a powerful shield against negativity also. And that's the interesting thing to me, that if you have that degree of deep-seated faith and belief in yourself and what you can do and accomplish, you're going to be able to overcome a lot of the negativity or doubters, skeptics, critics that say that we can't, we won't, don't even think about it. We have to really be able to turn those mindsets. We have to be able to flip them in a meaningful way to the exact mantra that Joe Dudley was talking about here.
Yeah, when we talk about Joe, we're talking about other people have say mean thing to him and make him determined to make it. And that
Right.
is, I'm not going to tell you my life story because we don't have enough time. But our accomplishment today, I'm talking about my family, my children, and I have 4 of them. They are very successful people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not by anything else but because I want to make sure that I understand we will not let my father's sacrifice go in vain. To honor my father.
Right.
That is the fuse that I put into the fire, for my children to understand, to have a sense of appreciated and knowing that somebody sacrificed for purpose, and that sacrifice you should not let it go in vain.
That's a great insight, and we have to be patient sometimes. You talked about the slow cooker. There's a concept in life of crock pot learning. Life is a crock pot.
Yeah,
put the ingredients in it. Be patient. Adjust the temperature as needed. But remember you remember the Aesop's fable, the tortoise and the hare.
yeah.
Do you remember who won that race?
Yeah.
It wasn't the hare, it was the tortoise. And so, sometimes if we push too hard or too fast, it's not the right pace to accomplish what we're trying to do. And so some opportunities require us to step back, slow down, really take a strategic vision of where we're going. And that helps us make the most of the opportunities that we have. And if they're not there, we go create new opportunities that are more exciting than the ones we've had before.
Yeah, and again, go through life, and we must do what we need to do, and we also must be patient If you don't have the patience, you do not have the right to taste the delectable food of the cart path or of your success. Because every time, you have to do the best that you could with the everything given to you at that moment, but you need let time unfold. And
Yes.
let time come into the intuitions of get to where you need it to, because you rush through it. Definitely, you build a house without foundation.
Yes, that's very well phrased. We do have to have a solid foundation for what we're doing, and if we don't, we tend to sink, and we can't. Life's too short for us to be spending time sinking. We do have to have a strong enough, solid enough foundation that's going to keep us reinforced and be able to move forward.
Yeah, and people keep on saying that I don't have time. You don't have to do the right thing, but when things go wrong, you have to find time to fix it and keep
That's
on
true.
thinking. Refocus our mind here. To go through the different mindset here to build the foundation in order for you to build up the tower.
Yes.
And Jeremy, earlier before that, you're talking about the opportunity knock and build the door, something.
Yes, there's a fascinating quote by Milton Berle, and he said, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. And the idea is if you have a door, it's more likely to be knocked upon. And I can tell you, whether it's your doorbell being rung or your door being knocked upon, the idea is you're going to get knocks, but you kind of have to have a door there to be able to allow people to knock.
But and there is another concept too, though, because sometimes that we stamp our feet on the other side of the door, and we keep on wondering
True.
what is inside of the other, what is
Mm-hmm.
happen on other side. You need to have the
Yes.
courage to turn the knob and walk through that door to see what
Yes.
is waiting for you on the other side of the door. And then
Yes.
when you go to maybe when you open the door, you walk into the hallways, right? So in the hallway, perhaps there is many doors. So now you have to using your own judgment. What door do you open? Or maybe
True.
feel locked. But again, you have the courage. You must have the courage to open that knob and walk through. And then if it's not the right door, then that keep the journey continue. You have to find the right door to walk through because you are here for purpose.
That I'm glad you brought up the courage issue, because that's a lot of us have the courage to knock at the door, but we don't have sometimes we lack the courage to go further than that. I mean, if someone doesn't open the door, we have to ask ourselves, what do we do then?
The door. I'm serious. I have clients that like that. They are sabotaging their own success because they cannot handle success.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, because not that my own experience, but again, the clients I work with, I know sometimes they knock on the door was there, they knock it, and they secretly praying that nobody home.
Right.
It's so sad.
Well, we do doubt our success. I think we have as strong a fear of success as we do of failure. We may not want to admit that, but I think for a lot of us that it does creep in from time to time, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that is what is Craig was in that state of mind. And now he moving forward into the chapter 14. We're talking about the attitude,
Right.
attitude, and that is what a vast different from the Craig at the beginning and to at this point, because he no longer blame or looking at somebody and to point the finger at somebody. Now he asking the question to looking for the solution. Like he said, now what is the next step? That is the different attitude, for him and for anyone. Because if you think not working out, you have to asking the question in order for you to have a different action, to change the setting in order for you to find a new solution.
Yes. Yes. It's interesting that sometimes everything seems right, but we have that one thing that's wrong and we can't figure out what the heck it is. And then someone will tell us, you need to change your attitude. And that's a very direct way to tell people, And I've received that message before, and I didn't receive it very well, but the time that I did receive it, the person was right. And you know, I had to, that was a painful truth to accept, but you're right, Greg has come a long way from, like he said in this chapter, from basically stealing Jonathan Buckland's jacket and to trying to produce an international bestseller that's going to help people, help thousands of people or more.
Now he has the directory of all the who and who. You know,
that's right.
So awesome. And you know, thank you very much for sharing the story of at one point somebody have tell you that your attitude is sting, and then you know it's hard to take it, but
it really is. It is. I was upset. I was angry. I wanted to respond, but I was so shocked. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, and I like that very, very much because you know, there is always a solution. We refuse to see it, but
you're right.
Every solution is there, but you just need to make the decisions, and then when you make that decision, if it's not correct, then you change it. But you know, sometimes you get paralyzed by the wrong decision at one point. And
why do you think it is that we can't see the solution sometimes?
Because in our own mind we have a different story. We have the story in our mind.
Sure.
And that story written by us, and then because it's something that and then we already have the to prematurely have the conclusion already, so and now the story not go accordingly. This is very, very upsetting, right?
It is. You know, it's interesting to me. We seem to have blind spots. You know, we all have what we can see ourselves, and then we seem to have these blind spots. And sometimes it requires someone to give us a little elbow nudge or tap on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you're missing this issue over here. Is the key to solving your problem, and you can't see it, and I don't know why, but we have to be each other's eyes and ears to some extent, don't we? I mean, to help with clarity."
Especially when you're too close to it. You know, when you're looking at things too close.
Yes.
You don't see whatever the square footage in front of you. See, therefore, you have to step back. You have to go back, and there are a few feet, and then
right.
You have the whole vista. And when you see the whole vista, you can see things at more different angle, just rather than the brick wall, the 4 bricks in front of you. No,
yes. I think life is sort of like a jigsaw puzzle. We all have certain pieces in our hands, but we don't have all the pieces. And so we rely on each other to see what those pieces are. And I think there's a reference to a jigsaw puzzle in this chapter too. I think Greg is talking about looking for the missing jigsaw pieces and finding that having the right attitude was really one of those that he needed.
You know, this chapter really fired me up because that's why in the other different chapter previously, he talking about the right associations. And I think that the right association is very, very important. At that one point, I don't know, Don Green or Jonathan said to Craig, if you want to quit about something, you don't go and to tell the critic, because the critic will support you, will tell you all the reasons why you should quit.
Right.
If you go to somebody, achiever who will not quit, and they will remind you, okay, Craig, think why you set this goal in the first place. What's so important in this place? And then now you have to evaluate that. And if you're still passionate about that, you still believe in that, but because you are get into the place that you cannot see it clearly, let asking yourself, is this still important enough? If so, then recommit it, and
right.
And then to reapproach, go in a different way. And one thing that I mentioned to you all the time, my own father always said to me, the bend in the road is not the dead end of the road. You just have to take a turn. And when you get a turn, you see further, you can set further goal, and you can go further, and your journey continues.
We have to have the courage to take those turns too, don't we?
Oh, differently because you just say, a quitter just say, oh, I cannot go anywhere. The band is there. That dead end. That's the dead wall. But and again, we have to sum up all the courage within us and to have the courage to make a turn. I'm telling you, the older I am today, I will make the decision, whatever is needed with the information I have. I'm making the decision because if I don't involve the life and death of someone, I make the decision without sweat because I know that if I get on that road, if I don't get to where I needed to, I can make some to correct my course.
Right.
But if I stand my foot in one place, my father said, you become a part of the scenery.
Yes, and life's too short to do that. And I think it's, how do we know if we have the right attitude? How do we keep our attitude positive? We have this tendency to have negative cyclical patterns, and once that negativity starts, it just seems like we're sinking down sometimes.
Jeremy, I'm not trying to pitch for you or for me. That's why you need a coach.
Sure.
So a coach and a mentor can be a third eyes and be more looking at things different than you because you are in it. Sometimes Les Brown said the famous word. He said when you're in the frame, in the picture, you cannot see the picture.
Nice.
You cannot see the picture.
Right.
You see, and
makes sense.
Yes, no, I'm serious. We made a commitment. This way, we share, we teach. We're not doing any pitching for ourselves. But I'm seriously, your runner needed you to say to them that you're only 3 feet away to hit that to hit the dotted line. So keep on going because I believe in you. You can make it. I believe in you. You make it. You need to make this turn to get there. And just like my clients, because I will keep making sure that they understand. They sometimes that they have the tendency to quit too soon and they don't know how close they are to their goals. So that is our job. And whether they hired us or somebody else, they need to have somebody, give them a different view, to give them more of the thing that they need. Just like you said, you have the blind spot. And like Les Brown said, when you're in the picture frame, you don't see the picture.
Right. Yeah, and I think we all rely upon that support from each other. Even if it's the smallest little boost, sometimes we just, something will go wrong and we can't seem to encourage ourselves. And we do rely on others for encouragement, just like Napoleon Hill was seeking with his wife.
Yeah. But that is one thing. But let's facing it. When you're looking for a mentor and a coach, you're looking for somebody in a step higher than you because that person
Right.
can lift you up. But because you're in the plant field with somebody, the person that you don't see, that person might not see it either because they have the same trouble with you. If you want to improve, you want to better, you have to associate and you have to connect with somebody better than you because they can have a better view, they have a better experience, they can interject a new idea and you will have a aha moment. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. It's a shift. It's a shift in perspective, and we all need to shift from time to time, from negativity to positivity, or from a bleak interpretation of the future to a much brighter future. We all have rose-colored glasses, and we can take them off and see without them, and see something entirely different that we wouldn't be able to see with our with the subjective rose-colored glasses that might cloud our vision.
Yeah, and one thing. Let me mention something about the glasses. I need glasses, but again, when I talk with you and I'm in a close range, I can see you okay. But,
sure.
And then if I'm reading, I need to have a reading glass where I can magnify the word that I can read.
Right.
And then, and then if I want to see the distance, I have a different glasses that I need. So, just know what you need and then to inquire that because not every coach out there is for you. You have to find the right coach for you.
Right. The important thing is that there's always someone there to help for anyone who needs help. That ability to help someone shift their attitude or to shift other perspectives or things in their life. That there are all kinds of people out there that can help, and sometimes it's just a matter of figuring out which ones the people align with best, right?
Yeah, see, I don't know about you, but again, this book resonates with me because that's how I coach, and that's what I'm talking about. And I truly believe that about you too, Jeremy, but because we don't communicate in that level. But when you have a coach, like you're coaching your client, you want to know that do they have the passion for running or for
Right.
good health. And then you have to see the talent. If that person, everybody can run, but in order to be a runner, you'll be in some kind of the speed thing. Do they have the talent of that?
True.
People thinking that reading, you just running, you just moving your feet. My granddaughter, who said to me, I said, I don't know how to run because I have a problem with my ankle, right? But my granddaughter said, easy, Emma, you just put one foot in front of the other, and first you do slowly, and you do the faster, and you move your arm. That is running. I can do that, but I cannot very much do the race, right?
Well, there's a lot of wisdom in that, and that is a simplistic way of looking at it. But I mean, that's what running becomes if you break it down to the basic mechanics and motor skills of moving your body in the right way. And I can run pretty well, but I can't dance very well, and so we all have our strengths. That's the beauty of it.
That's the lesson for my granddaughter. So you when you go to talk to your client, you want to see that they have the passion for running and they have the talent for it. And I mean, they're capable of run the race. And then association, and then to connect with you and, with the mastermind group, and that perhaps that's the right association for them. And action that they just need to go out there and run.
Right. Yes, we do have to take the active steps to get to our goals. None of us can just sort of coast into the finish line. Life really doesn't work out that way.
Yeah. So see, the wisdom of from the mouth of the babe. That's what my 4 years old granddaughter. I say it in order for us to say goodbye. My granddaughter, who is just tell me a joke, and she said, "Amma, do you know why that we should not give a balloon to Elsa?" I don't know, and I just look at her, and she said, "Amma, because she will let it go." and 4 years old, and she said she let it go, and then I think it's just like it's the most belly laugh I ever done. Having grandchildren, they are the funnest people in the world.
Yeah.
It didn't see. It is right. You know that at the time you have to let it go, but and that's somebody that they have to have the stickability in order for them to that we talk about commitment for them to be success, whatever they do.
Yes, and we do have to let things go in life when things are negative. We to pile up on your story that. We do have to let negative things go sometimes, and if we don't, we simply cannot change our perspective. In my opinion, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree totally. You have to let it go, or you'll be dragged.
Right.
So what next for next episode?
Let's see. Next week we're talking about chapter 15. It'll be episode 12. The chapter title is Association. I think I called the show "The Power of Association," though. I thought it fit the concept a little better, just to illustrate how powerful that inner circle and the close network we have is to our success. And without it, just forget it. We can't live in individual silos and be successful. I've tried it.
No, I agree totally. And then, I have to share another story on this. You cannot be isolate. And what success mean to you? Your success mean to you is that you have to make the impact, and you have to share. And I think that's it.
This is what success means to me. And well, I mean, this is the success formula we've been talking about. And I think
we adapted to it already.
This one is attitude, right?
Ooh.
Passion plus talent times attitude times associations. I think I'm doing all this from memory, so I hope I have the titles right. But I think this one is attitude. So we're right here.
The book is associations.
Association.
But I like the attitude there, because attitude and actions. You know, you have the passion, you have the talent, and you have the great attitude, and you act on it.
Right.
I like that.
Right. And again, I was just trying to do it from memory. So if I'm off by a couple A's, I'm sorry.
I so adapted into the point that I speak it generally roll out of the tip of my tongue. It's just like mine. I own it. This is I really enjoy it, Jeremy, because like I said, this is the book that you know, when we said, oh, we can buy a chapter and then 6 pages, we said, what can we talk about? We certainly have a lot of things to talk about.
We do. We can talk for a long time about this, but we have to break it up into reasonable bites for our viewers to be able to absorb the wisdom and knowledge and experience of the book and be able to apply these lessons to our lives in common sense, easy ways.
Yes, that definitely, and you know, you and I, we are not shy away to share our experience, because with our experience and the lesson we learn make it more powerful, because we marriage is something that we learn and actually happen to our life. So
right.
I appreciate that, and more importantly, I appreciate you, Mr. Jeremy Murphy. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Hai. You have amazing knowledge, experience, and wisdom that you've shared with us and continue to share in a generous way. And I'm very grateful that you're a part of this and that we get to spend so much time together and be able to help people.
Yeah, and again, I am truly and sincerely appreciate that, because otherwise we don't speak weekly,
right.
You know, and just because of that. We certainly come to contact and have a conversation every week, and I
right.
like that very much.
I do too.
Okay, so so long for now, and
okay.
Don't forget those postcards.
I won't. We're gonna close the show out now. Please subscribe for next week for episode 12, The Power of Association. I'm sorry I don't have the link, but there's a blab glitch. And if you haven't found this, your blabs that are supposed to be your future blabs that are supposed to be on your profile page are not. So I'm sorry I don't have the link, but The Power of Association is the title for the next show. And look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.